So it's been a while. We're finally here at last with One Punch Man. Volumes 28, 29, 30, 31 and 32. All here in one video. So I've not been able to get around to this video for a while. That is why I am a couple volumes behind. And we're going to go through more here today in this video. I've just been very busy right now. And also on top of that, these are all of the above ground Monster Association battles, and I just kind of wanted to go through them all in one big video because I'm going to compare them with the webcomic throughout the video. Because this is where One Punch Man manga and webcomic has its biggest changes, in my opinion, in comparison to having the same story. The One Punch Man manga has obviously had its own new things added in that's not in the webcomic, and it's added on to the story. Some of which is really good, and we've covered before, and in the manga it's really good. But obviously I think some of the changes in these volumes here are not so great, but there are some good parts, some really good elements sprinkled within these volumes, and we're going to go through them all here, and we're going to break them down. And so yeah, strap in because this might be a bit of a long video. Alright, so I guess we'll just go over each and every cover and behind artwork as we go through, and if there are any variant covers or extended bottoms or extended images, I'll just post them up on screen as the video goes on without really mentioning them. But yeah, here are all of the side artworks. Right, so volume 28. Here we have Tatsumaki and Genos on the cover. And on the back, we've got Blast with a very white background. Yeah, you're going to notice this to be a big theme with almost all of the covers now. I miss the actual cover arts we used to have. This is the message from One, the author, and Yusuke Murata, the artist. Messages at the front. All the characters featured in this volume. And the chapters. We've got Garo under the rubble because he's now slowly transforming into a monster, and we're finally going to get to look and see what he's become in this volume. But yeah, it continues off where we left off last time. The entire Monster Association base just got lifted up out of the ground, and Tatsumaki is fighting Psychos with Orochi. Also, if you're reading the webcomic, start from chapter 70. That's where we'll be continuing on from here on out. Right, so yeah, Genos and Tatsumaki are just having a big battle with Psychos and Orochi, who have kind of become this massive fusion creature. And there's massive destruction going on outside the Monster Association's headquarters now, because we're above ground. Yeah, there's not really too much to say of this volume, as it is literally just continuing the big fight from last time. This is the longest fight of One Punch Man. It's very long and drawn out. Sadly, yeah, One Punch Man has kind of become the joke it used to make fun of, with its over drawn out battles. But yeah, we basically get everyone returning from above ground and working together to take on this huge monster. And while Sweet Mask is kind of getting himself together, for some reason he sees a quick image of Blast for a second there, and then he snaps out of it. I think it was just a hallucination. But yeah, and Darkshine is here all dishevelled and badly beaten from when Garo was fighting him in the previous volume. Because, yeah, and then we finally get to see Garo. He returns and slowly transforming into the monster we all know him to become. And he starts gripping into the floor, and he's now lost his humanity. This is the very last we see of human Garo, and now finally entering his monster stage. And Putty Putty Prison's trying to comfort him, trying to get him to be his strong usual self, along with the other heroes, but they're not doing any damage to him because despite Darkshine's weak mindset, he's still got an amazingly strong and durable body that can hardly take damage. But yeah, all the heroes gather up, ready together, ready for their big final battle, which I'm not too big of a fan of. And then it cuts to a flashback of Tatsumaki as a child in a prison cell where Blast saves her. Originally, this is in the webcomic, this is saved for after this arc for Tatsumaki versus Saitama. But yeah, we go through this whole flashback and it pushes her to continue fighting. And yeah, it gets a little bit silly, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not too big of a fan of this. But yeah, this entire volume is just this entire big fight. They all team together, all the Class S heroes are working together, and they finally take down Orochi and take him out. And the cliffhanger is Flash, Saitama, and I think Manako all find this mysterious cube and this mysterious being in a big cave underground, which I'm not a fan of. This feels very, very forced. Then you make the bonus chapter is just Watchdog Man seeing what he's getting up to. As he's not in the battle, he's still in City Q, just protecting it like he always does, and always has done, and probably always will. And that is the end of the volume. Meanwhile, in the webcomic for chapter 70 and 71, and a bit of 72, Tatsumaki flips the entire Monster Association base out of the ground, and it's just her remaining, with all the monsters coming out of the rubble. She's all alone. It's part of her consequences of trying to flip the base. And she's got to fight them all on her own, and Psychos surprises Tatsumaki and damages her. That's why in the manga it was changed a bit, because the author wanted a bit of a different way for Tatsumaki to get weakened instead of surprised. Then Bang Bomb, Genos and Fubuki arrive because Genos explodes the ground with his incineration cannons, and they manage to emerge and help Tatsumaki out. Volume 29. Alright, so on the cover we have Blast holding a weird cosmic cube thing, Saitama, Flash and Manako. So the three characters who's underground. And on the back we have Bang and Bomb and Fubuki with a lovely white background. Yeah. On this side we've got Message from One and the artist Yusuke Murata, with the independent characters icon. We've got Siri's sister Suiko here. Interesting that she's here. Then we've got a list of all the characters in this volume, along with some of the monsters in this volume. And here's the chapters list. This artwork here is actually really cool. It shows a cosmic cube in space and under the sea. So it starts continuing from the previous volume where we've got Saitama, Flash and Manako underground. And this is very in line with the webcomic. I like this, where they're underground and that's the reason why they can't get up to the fight just yet, because they're buried. Manako's new to the manga. She's originally not from the webcomic, but she's a welcome addition. But this is sort of where I'm not a fan of the manga. It kind of forces the whole Blast and God dynamic. Like, sure, it's a cool storyline, but it seems too early to introduce this. Like, in the webcomic, Blast doesn't show up here, and I'm not a fan of that. Like, this arc isn't about him or God, so this feels really, really forced. Like, there's some moments in this arc where God is supposed to appear, like in the webcomic, and it works really well. But here, I'm just not feeling that. But, yeah, Blast takes him away in Black Hole to go above ground. And that's the last we see of them for quite a while now. Meanwhile, above ground, the heroes all finally here together. Zombie Man is quite damaged from Homeless Emperor shooting his energy blasts. And yeah, they basically finish off Orochi in this volume. Meanwhile, in the webcomic, Tatsumaki is alone, just getting it handed to her all on her own, taking mass damage. But yeah, it's a little bit weird that Metal Bat is out from the hospital and how he's joining the battle. Like in the webcomic, he just wasn't in this arc, and I kind of prefer it that way. But yeah, they tie up loose ends with the hostage situation. And meanwhile, Siryu and Suiku are in the hospital watching this go down on the news. A little bit of foreshadowing for a future arc, which I don't mind too much. But yeah, back to the battle. Tatsumaki is very weakened down, but she actually has heroes on her side in the manga, unlike in the webcomic. But yeah, Sweet Mask jumps into fight, but Black Sperm kind of catches him. Then Fear Ugly returns once again. Yeah, Sweet Mask is pretty strong, but his weakness is ugliness, and so technically Fear Ugly here is Sweet Mask's kryptonite, effectively. Yeah, I have a very specific voice for Fear Ugly in my mind. Like, I just think of Raccoon from Dragon Ball, the English dub.
See, I've got this special little move I like to use. I'm gonna wipe out this whole place!
But yeah, Sweet Mask is badly beaten down, and Homeless Emperor's charging energy blasts. It's currently not looking good for the heroes because all the monsters are basically brutally attacking them. We've got Gums trying to eat them all. And we've got Black Sperm watching, and as you know, Black Sperm is definitely the most deadly and dangerous monster here. But yeah, we've got Genos overcharging because of his new mode, and Fubuki kind of heals him up. Then this chapter is actually quite interesting. It's called Jupiter, the Bringer of Jolly. It's named after a song, like an instrumental song, and there's a big light show going on from Homeless Emperor. This is basically the music that's playing in his head when he's giving off this light show to try to show off. And yeah, we got some emotional moments with Tatsumaki and Fubuki. And for some reason the Swordmasters show up as well, which is a bit silly, like this is a hero operation. But yeah, Gums comes in and he's still fighting along with all the other monsters in this big battle against the heroes. And I really love the artwork for Fear Ugly. He looks so ugly and detailed, but it really works. And yeah, he does this devastating attack on Tank Top Master, and it looks like he's dead, and surprisingly he doesn't die from this, which is ridiculous again. Like, realistically, anyone would die from that. But plot armor. But yeah, Tatsumaki is all beaten down, and Fear Ugly is planning to do some really gross, disgusting things to her. You can tell what it is, but thankfully nothing happens because Bang gets involved. But yeah, he's got some pretty disgusting thoughts going on. But yeah, then we got Bang coming in and taking out Gums to some extent, and then also just easily deflecting Fear Ugly's attacks. Now in the webcomic, Bang does one-shot Gums and Fear Ugly, like instantly. They just completely die in one shot, and I really love that. It really shows how powerful Bang is as a martial artist and as a hero. But sadly we just don't get that in the manga. He doesn't one-shot them, which really sucks. And Fear Ugly even gets this massive transformation that's just not in the manga. which again is just a big shame. But instead it becomes Gums accidentally eating Fiora Ugly, and then Gums gets killed in the process of Fiora Ugly ripping out of Gums' stomach, so Gums is now dead completely. And we get this vomited Fiora Ugly now. And we've got even Natural Water shooting water streams, but it's nothing for Darkshine that he can't handle. And I really love this. Darkshine is one of my favourites. But yeah, we just got Darkshine just effortlessly swatting away Evil Natural Water. And then we've got Black Sperm joining in as well, like again the most deadly one here. And yeah, even he's struggling a little bit. But yeah, I also not a fan of this. In the manga they sort of gave him a bit of a weakness, like in the webcomic, like even this would multiply him, but in the manga they sort of added this weakness, which I'm not too big of a fan of. But yeah, so we've got a cliffhanger of Black Sperm getting angry at Darkshine. And there's actually no Amake in this volume here. Now, in comparison for the webcomic, we're going to go through chapters 73 to 77, around that sort of time. Yeah, so it's a big difference because, honestly, Genos is up trying to help Tatsumaki out, but he's getting dismantled by Black Sperm, and then he's got this entire transformed Fiora Ugly that we don't even get in the manga. And then, obviously, Bang shows up and one-shots both Fiora Ugly in his transformed state and Gums, which sadly we don't get. Then we also get Bang managing to hold his own against Homeless Emperor for a bit, and quite a lot of Black Cell Sperms, like showing how really strong he actually is. Well, Genos is all dismantled on the floor. Also, we get a bit of Fubuki versus Psychos, which is not in the manga. Like, she gets completely taken out now, which is a shame because it gives a lot of context, as Fubuki and Psychos are like childhood friends, and obviously it goes into all this stuff about the psychic battle, which was really cool, but we just don't get. And her seeing the future part, that's a bit earlier in the manga, like with the whole Tatsumaki and Orochi thing. That pass, yeah, that's already kind of gone now. Well, in the webcomic it was a little bit later on. Then we also in the webcomic we get Garo in his human form above ground a little bit. Like he hasn't actually transformed yet, which I don't mind too much. Like that's a welcome change I find, but yeah, it's quite interesting. Okay, volume 30. So on the cover we do have Garo in his new monster form, Bang, and Saitama in the middle, which is really cool. I actually really like this cover. It's really well designed. It's quite really well drawn, and just like the dynamic going on here, I love it. Can't really say too much about the back though. It's got Bang and Bomb in their younger days, though it is just a big white background. Then we've got the message from One and Yusuke Murata, the artist. Then the fictional character's message is this, and we've got a bit of an introduction to some of the characters, as usual, with some of the monsters and the chapters list of this volume. So continuing on from the above ground battles with the Monster Association, we've got Bang and Tatsumaki fighting all the Black Sperm clones along with Darkshine, who's pretty much just handling himself pretty well due to his durability and overwhelming strength. And there's just literally like an entire tsunami of Black Sperm. Like, there's literally like millions of clones of him all just crushing everything around. He has completely gone out of control. And the monsters are all just kind of like basically just being cocky and overconfident. So it's kind of everyone against Black Sperm right now. Even for some reason, lower class heroes that are around. And now Fubuki has healing power, she's able to heal up Tank Top Master. Then Garo shows up, we get the infamous "how do I look" scene from the webcomic, but I guess in the manga he doesn't say that. So in the manga this is like the first proper look you get of his new monster form, and it looks amazing. In the webcomic it's just Fubuki who sees it, but here Bomb sees it as well, and he's calling for Bang. And Bang notices, so he basically goes over to rush over to where Garo is, and Atomic Samurai offers to take all the black sperm clones for him. So we get a bit of a 1v1 between Garo and his new monster form and Bomb. And yeah, now the odds are completely changed from comparison to last time when Garo fought Bang and Bomb. Oh yeah, and we get the infamous "I'll sit on your face if we win" meme panel there. That's from this panel here. But yeah, they're all like teamed together fighting monsters. Genos and Tatsumaki are really doing well together in the big battle. And we've got Vomited Fury Ugly still. And he's actually burning Darkshine quite a bit with the stomach acid and the vomit. All the Swordmasters join in, but cuts are no effective on him because he's just a pile of mush now. Meanwhile, we keep getting back to Garo versus Bomb. But as I said before, Garo is definitely a lot stronger now, and he actually manages to take out Bomb all on his own. And then Bang comes over and challenges him to a 1v1, which is new to the manga because in the webcomic, Garo doesn't fight Bang or Bomb in his monster form. And at first, I was a little bit hesitant, like, oh no, another random manga change that doesn't feel needed. And I did feel that way for this first part of the fight when Bang was fighting Garo in his monster form, along with the whole Fury Ugly fight with the Swordmasters, to which Fury Ugly does kill some of the Swordmasters. Like, there are permanent deaths. I think like only one survives from this fight, and Atomic Samurai basically gets an upgrade. He gets the Sunblade. There's said to be a Sunblade and a Moonblade. Yeah, Atomic Samurai gets the Sunblade, so he now gets like a power boost from this arc. But yeah, Fury Ugly starts basically getting Black Sperm angry, saying it was pretty much free food for him. So he's sort of betraying the Monster Association and Black Sperm a bit, and yeah, Black Sperm really doesn't like to be looked down on. Like, that gets him the most angry. So he transforms. We get our first introduction to Golden Sperm. In the webcomic, it was Multi-Cell Sperm first, and he only lasted like a panel before Tatsumaki ripped his head off and killed him. But yeah, in the manga, we don't get Multi-Cell Sperm, we only get Golden Sperm. And yeah, Golden Sperm is very, very powerful. Yeah, and he with ease takes out Fury Ugly, because Fury Ugly is nothing in comparison. And then Homeless Emperor also basically blasts him because Fury Ugly is just trying to betray all the other monsters now, and yeah, he's just pathetic in comparison to them. But yeah, then Darkshine starts looking at all of Golden Sperm's muscles and now feels inferior, and yeah, Golden Sperm is completely obliterating Darkshine. And we still got some Black Sperm clones here, like they're still around watching, because not all of the sperms were required to create Golden Sperm. I think somewhere it says how many were required. But yeah, Metal Bat shows up, which I'm not too big of a fan of. He really shouldn't be in this big battle, in my opinion. But yeah, then all the other Black Sperm clones are doing mass damage, and along with Homeless Emperor, who's basically blasting everyone around. and Genos is trying to protect Tatsumaki while he's all beaten and ruined. But hey, King arrives. But yeah, this Mastering People chapter is what made me change my mind a bit on the whole Monster Garo versus Bang fight. Because like I was saying before, earlier, like at the beginning, I was a bit concerned. I wasn't really too big of a fan of it. But then we get this whole flashback of Garo, and then it does this, a bit of an ass pull here where Garo's reading some secret scrolls and learned this ancient martial art that was very powerful, which makes no sense in my opinion. Like, why didn't he just use it earlier on in the story, like when he was struggling with fights, if it's that powerful? Like, it just kind of seems a bit of an ass pull move to have that here now in the story, in my opinion. So personally, I probably wouldn't have added it. But yeah, we do get this flashback of Bang in his early days and Bomb, because they're brothers, in their younger days. And Bang is kind of what Garo is really. Like, he used to be a bit of a rough guy who used his martial arts for his own personal gain, but Bomb kind of sets him straight by beating him up. And Bang and Bomb are said to be like invincible, like unbeatable in their prime age. They've just gotten a bit weaker as they've gotten older, which makes sense. But yeah, this gives a lot of reason to why Bang has this motivation to take on Garo and beat him, because if Bang can defeat Garo in a fight, then obviously Garo will change his ways and not be a hero hunter anymore and actually take martial arts seriously and, you know, use it for good. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense in comparison. Like, when you read the webcomic, or at the end of the Saitama versus Garo fight, Bang beats down on Garo, and it makes a lot of sense to why he does that, which sadly the manga doesn't have. We'll go into in the next video, but yeah, it's... Honestly, I was a bit worried at first, but honestly, it's really cool. But yeah, we just get a bit more of Black Sperm beating down on Genos and Tatsumaki, of Homus Emperor just blowing up the Sword Masters. And we get some impressive feats from Atomic Samurai here. And he even manages to cut off one of Golden Sperm's arms, which is pretty impressive in itself. Golden Sperm can't duplicate like Black Sperm can. And then we get a lot of more of Evil Natural Water coming in, and it's King. The big cliffhanger is here. King has come to save the day against all these dragon level threats on his own, where all the other heroes are completely struggling and are unable to keep up. And King is just in fear inside, but everyone thinks he can actually do it. And then the make here is basically just advertisement saying like, hey, look, King is really cool and he's doing all this promotional stuff, which is kind of funny, because it's like how some heroes can make money, really. Okay, so meanwhile in the webcomic, we get Garo coming above ground, and he confronts Fubuki, claiming that he's that ominous future disaster level god. So he's self-claiming this title for himself. Meanwhile, Saitama and Flash are underground, buried under the rubble still. Yeah, this is still going on in the webcomic, when the manga is a lot more early on that they get out. And yeah, we see Garo in like a human-y monster form. It's not very clear what he is, but it's kind of cool. So I don't really mind it too much that Garo is now a full monster in the manga. It's a welcome change, like I said before. And then we also get this interesting panel about Evil Natural Water. It talks about him shooting out these high-pressure cannons that can pierce people, and that he reacts to people's emotions, and that's kind of how he goes after his targets. Then Child Emperor starts talking about King's ultimate move, which we'll get into in the next volume. But yeah, it's revealed Flash never got his arm stuck in the rock. He just didn't want his sword to get snapped, and Saitama's pretty angry about that. Honestly, we do get this in the manga, but it's a lot more funny in the webcomic, honestly, like the way it's presented. But yeah, then we get Tatsumaki still up and fighting, and her skirt lifts up, and this is obviously going to be important later, because this is going to be the whole King saw Tatsumaki's panties line in the webcomic, which we don't get in the manga until the next arc, weirdly. But yeah, she's basically still fighting despite all the damage, which is quite impressive. And she basically kills multi-cell sperm pretty quickly. This is who we get instead of golden sperm this early on. But yeah, multi-cell doesn't last very long. And then black sperm starts taking hostages. Honestly, what I really do like more about the webcomic is that it does feel a lot more like a battle royale free-for-all, monsters against heroes, where in the manga it feels a bit more like 1v1 or, a group versus one monster at a time sort of dynamic, which I'm not too big of a fan of. Volume 31. Yeah, this is going to be my favourite volume in this video. Like, this is a really good one. On the front we got King. I really like the extended cover for this volume here. On the back we got Zombie Man with a white background. What do you expect, hey? But yeah, this actually got really load of good stuff in this volume. And it's, one of the best ones off this arc. So it's been a while since we've got a volume that I'm mostly happy with now. So we've got the message from One and Yusuke Murata. We've got the characters list, which is chibi versions of Saitama and Genos. And yeah, volume 31. We've got all the monsters and the heroes listed out. And the chapters list for this volume, with some fan service here. Yeah, so King just gets a really, really cool moment in this volume. Talks about the King engine, and now he's up against the big shots of the Monster Association. And he's against this entire army of black sperm, with a golden sperm, Homeless Emperor, and Evil Natural Water, all ready to attack. But King starts trying to make stuff up on the spot to try lure them away. He's just saying nonsense just to freak them out and try to get them to stop fighting. Homeless Emperor just completely misreads and misinterprets what he's saying, because Homeless Emperor has a weakness here. Homeless Emperor is actually just a normal human that's able to shoot huge big energy blasts, just like the ones Vaccine Man can fire from Volume 1. So his weakness is that basically, considering he's just a normal guy, he can just get killed really, really easily if someone gets up close to him. And obviously he doesn't want Black Sperm to know this, because Black Sperm and Homeless Emperor are kind of planning to betray each other later on. They're not loyal to each other, and he's worried that he's just going to find out he's basically just a regular human with amazing energy blast powers, which kind of only works at long range. So for this he's got to keep his distance. But suddenly Zombie Man springs out from the ground and grabs Homeless Emperor, now rendering him useless. And Zombie Man basically just holds him down. And Black Sperm and Evil Natural Water are the only ones basically able to fight King now. So everyone starts imagining King having this amazing power of this immense energy blast to destroy all the monsters away. And it's hilarious. But in the webcomic, it's King who imagines it in his head, and they were like, wait, no, don't fire. So it is a little bit different the way they imagine it, but yeah. And there is one shot in the webcomic that's not in the manga, which I do miss, is that Black Sperm is like terrified, and Golden Sperm is too, but he's too embarrassed to admit it, so he thinks it in his head. And we just don't get that in the manga, sadly. But yeah, all the Black Sperm clones jump into Golden Sperm to form an even more powerful creature, all merging together into one, only leaving just a minor fraction of Black Sperm to survive. And in the webcomic, this is the original summoning image we got for Golden Sperm, but instead the manga gives us Platinum Sperm. Yeah, Platinum Sperm is even more faster and stronger than Golden Sperm. So in the manga it goes black to gold to platinum, where the webcomic it went black to multi-cell to golden. So yeah, golden sperm is kind of the new multi-cell sperm, and platinum sperm is now the replacement for golden sperm in terms of power-ups for this character. And then it cuts back to Garo and Bang in their fight. It's now ending this battle between them, and it shows a little bit of Bang trying to correct Garo's form, as a good sensei would for his student, despite circumstances. But they continue to fight. Then Bang manages to break through to Garo a little bit, which I'm not a fan of this panel. It looks very good, don't get me wrong, it looks amazing, beautiful artwork, but just storytelling wise, I'm not a fan of Monster Garo being on par with Bang. And it cracks a bit of his monster mask out to reveal Garo's still human underneath, which is supposed to be a bit more of a surprise for later on, near the end of this arc, but yeah. And Bang basically loses to Garo because Bang and Bomb are the same strength. But yeah, and Fear Ugly finds Bang will pass out on the floor, unable to defend himself, and he's going to take advantage of this because he's still alive, he managed to escape. Now, this is a really huge moment in the story here from both the webcomic and the manga, and this part is amazing. So as Zombie Man is holding down Homeless Emperor, he starts talking about God, and this God comes over the moon. In the webcomic we don't get this, but it's a welcome edition. I love this. And we just see God standing on the moon, and Homeless Emperor is terrified. Then we get this massive double page spread of Homeless Emperor in this weird dimension realm with God. We also get amazing colours by this, official coloured pages. And yeah, and it's terrifying because God just kills Homeless Emperor. He takes back the power he gave to Homeless Emperor, and Homeless Emperor just bursts into ashes and big skeleton and dies instantly, just from a distance away. And this gets Zombie Man's attention because originally he didn't believe Homeless Emperor, but now he does. But honestly, this is good foreshadowing. This makes sense for the plot. It's not forced like some of the other God stuff in the Monster Association arc. So this actually works and it makes sense for the plot. So with that, Homeless Emperor is now dead. But now we've got a showdown between King and Platinum Sperm. And everyone's watching. And then King unfolds his arms, and this gets everyone's attention. It's hilarious. And people try to help King, but Platinum Sperm just swats everyone away effortlessly with this big head tendril thing. And it's just a 1v1 showdown now. And Bomb is too badly injured from his battle with Garo to help Bang out, and yeah, so Garo cracks for a little bit, which I'm not a fan of. I wish he was still his normal self under that, like without the whole missing eyepiece. But yeah, Garo just snaps and just kills Fear Ugly here to protect Bang, because there's still a bit in him that doesn't want Bang to die. Because if you notice, Garo doesn't kill heroes, he only beats them up. Then he zips around, and within milliseconds he takes them out. So we've got hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. So he knocks Platinum Sperm out the way and takes out Evil Natural Water. And that's basically all in 50 milliseconds, and normal playback speed. It just looks like King just wiped them all out with one blast. And people are just completely shocked when they see this, and King is obviously surprised because he obviously didn't see what was coming or what was happening at all. He just saw it instantly. Garo's just so fast. But yeah, Fear Ugly is surprised by the hole within himself, and he eventually dies, and now finally Fear Ugly is dead. Yeah, in the webcomic he does die a lot earlier on, and I prefer it that way. It feels like he was very drawn out throughout this fight, and he didn't really need to last for as long as he did. So good riddance, honestly. Bit of a shame that the manga changed it. He's now kind of awake out of this monster state, with like a crack of his eye, which I'm not too big of a fan of. I wish he just stayed like fully monster. Like he could have just been himself under the monster form anyway. But yeah, then we get the black hole, and we get Saitama, Maneko, and Flashy Flash all emerging out from the black hole. Which again, not too big of a fan of. I wish they just came out the rubble normally. Results. But yeah, so they're all back and now catching up on the situation here. And they all see Garo, but Saitama just runs straight to Genos on the floor because they finally reunite. They've not spoken to each other for a while now. So I think it's been like quite a good couple of, I think at least a good 10, 15 volumes of the manga now, at least. It's been a while. But yeah, we get this really emotional scene in the manga. This is new to the manga and I love this. But yeah, then Flash attacks Garo and we get these two now having at it at each other. And Platinum Sperm interrupts, he just walks by and just Ultra Instinct style slaps them around. In the webcomic, it's Golden Sperm who does this to Tatsumaki. But yeah, here it's been changed quite a bit. And yeah, Platinum Sperm is pretty angry obviously, and Flash has got to do his job as a hero to take out the monsters. And Garo's obviously not going to back down, so we get a three-way battle between Platinum Sperm, Flash and Garo. Where in the webcomics it's just Garo versus Golden Sperm. But yeah, they start having their big battle. And this is a pretty interesting battle, to be fair. It's new to the manga, but I'm not opposed to it. It's pretty good. But yeah, we get this really emotional scene between Saitama and Genos, and I love it. This is new. This is also a big colour spread. But yeah, it's really emotional and it's great. And yeah, this is a really good moment for the manga. I love this new manga edition. And yeah, it's all colourful in the sky due to the fight. So we get an edgy teenager, a ninja, and a sperm monster all just at it. Big battle in the sky. And yeah, Garo's evolving throughout this fight. He's learning his God Calamity destroying monster fist. Yeah, and then for some reason Even Actual also goes into the ocean and absorbs into the ocean, becomes this massive creature now, which is new to the manga. I'm not big a fan of that either. But yeah, we get this really good battle between the three of them. And Flash is just completely surprised about these 4 new people that's been faster than in one day. But yeah, we get this amazing fight. And it's really cool. But I do prefer how the webcomic handled it, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, Platinum Sperm suggests to Garo that they team up on Flash and just have a 1v1, but Garo doesn't listen, because as you know, Garo isn't with the Monster Association. He's kind of like on his own, really. And then they start having a big battle. And then yeah, Garo kills Platinum Sperm, and yeah, that is the last of the Monster Association executives. So all the Monster Association kind of gets finished off in this volume now. And then this is a bit of forced foreshadowing that I'm not a fan of. A fake blast disguised. It's really good, but then the real blast comes and saves Tatsumaki. It's a bit silly. But yeah, and it foreshadows all this stuff, which it could have saved for a different arc. Doesn't really belong in the Monster Association arc, if I'm going to be honest. I know I say that a lot, but yeah. And then we get a bit of a silly cliffhanger. This new big centipede summoned by God, and Even Actual Water is now associated with God for some reason, because he went into the ocean, I don't know. And yeah, I'm not big on what happens in the next volume. But yeah, that is volume 31. Okay, so meanwhile in the webcomic, it pretty much kind of starts off similar. So we get God meeting Homeless Emperor and killing him in the arms of Zombie Man. Yeah, then all the Black Sperm clones all form together to create Golden Sperm. which is amazing. And then, yeah, he does the Ultra Instinct walk past Tatsumaki style attack. And yeah, Tatsumaki tries to rip off his head, just like she did with Multicell, but it just doesn't work, he's too strong. The author did say if Tatsumaki was at full power, she would be able to kill Golden Sperm, but due to her being badly injured, she just wasn't able to. Also, a bit of extra trivia for you is that the author confirmed that Golden Sperm is the same level of strength and power as the main protagonist from Makai no Osan, which roughly translates to Old Man of the Underworld. It's another webcomic one used to do. Yeah, then we get the King-style engine thing, his big blast attack, and all the monsters are terrified. And then we get Black Sperm, just terrified, and how he almost pooed himself. Well, Golden Sperm admits it as well in his head because he's too embarrassed to say so. But yeah, then Golden Sperm says that we don't need any more hostages just because it's cowardly. And I missed that. That was awesome in the webcomic. And then Garu shows up and attacks. Golden Sperm just completely surprised of how Garu's still alive. Also, what I really miss in the webcomic is that Golden Sperm tries to absorb all the other black sperms, saying that there's no need for the black sperms to exist anymore. And black sperm saying, no, we might still need to survive individually. So I kind of like this sort of betrayal between golden and black. It's really interesting and cool, actually. Yeah, but sadly we just don't get that in the manga either. And yeah, and then Garu shows up. And yeah, he just completely destroys Golden Sperm in a 1v1. They start having like this Dragon Ball Z style fight, and it's amazing. And Garu emerges and he turns into a monster. He transforms into a monster in the middle of that fight because that fight pushes him to this next level, and it's really cool and amazing. Yeah, and then he just goes on to fight the Class S heroes, which does not happen in the manga at all. Okay, so now moving on to the final volume of this video, volume 32. And I'm going to be brutally honest here. This is kind of the biggest waste of time volume in this video. Like all the others, it makes sense leading up to this point, but this last part just really doesn't feel necessary in my opinion. So we've got Garu, the big centipede, the new one, evil natural water, or I guess technically evil ocean water now, and Saitama. And on the back, wow, we actually get a proper coloured background. No white, which is really good, and I love this. This looks really good. Oh yeah, I should also mention that this volume has a lot of references to previous volumes. So yeah. Then we have a message from One, the author, and Yusuke Murata, the artist. Fictional characters icon. And all the characters featured in this volume. So, you know that previous cliffhanger from the previous volume? Yeah, half this volume goes into that, basically. This unknown threat level basically just comes up and shows up and starts targeting the helicopter Tario and the other heroes of trying to get away in. But Garu's trying to divert his attention back to him and not the escapees. And we got Evil Natural Water shooting sea cannon at Garu, so yeah. But then suddenly we get Saitama running on the water super fast. And then he does a serious punch and takes out Evil Natural Water and parts the water. He does that because he explains that he was getting really annoyed with all the water earlier on. But yeah, because he was getting annoyed by the water, he did a serious punch to, sort of like when he did with Elder Centipede, just more purely out of frustration. Then he notices the water is kind of going everywhere and there's an aircraft carrier that's struggling, so he starts surfing on it with his overwhelming strength. Then Metalbat shows up and attacks the centipede. And Garu is also trying to help him out, and this is sort of when he realises it's Garu again. So we get a bit of rivalry between Garo and Metalbat again, referencing Volume 11. But Garo's just not interested in Metalbat for some reason. He also wants to take out the monster. And Garo's trying to scare away the helicopter, which is completely goofy. And then Metalbat mistakes an attack coming for him, but it's actually aimed at the huge centipede. And they start working together. There's a bit of a rivalry going on between them, which is a cool dynamic. I would admit, I really do like the dynamic between Garo and Metalbat. They even make each other stronger, and there's definitely a huge rivalry going on. They don't like each other, but they've got to work together. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel right for this point in the story. I'd much rather Garo taking out all the Class S heroes like he does in the webcomic. So yeah, half this volume is just them fighting this huge centipede, which drags on quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, really cool artwork, but story-wise, I don't know, not feeling it. Then Garo takes out his heart and compares it to Orochi. I'm not even sure if Garo knows if Orochi's dead at this point now or not, but yeah, he throws it up and the huge centipede goes to get it. Oh yeah, Pig God kind of loses all of his fat during the fight and starts eating the dead corpse of Gums to regain his fat. I forgot to mention that in the previous volumes, that he had to use up all his fat reserves. But yeah, he goes to get it, but then Garo, he bursts off the heart and smashes down on the centipede. And then it cuts to this flashback about Bang teaching Garo to chop this cement sticks. This actually first appeared in an OVA episode in season 1. I believe it's because 1 was very involved with the OVA episodes as well. But yeah, Garo smashes it, and it reveals that there was still one more down below, where Bang can obviously smash them all with ease. But yeah, this time Garo imagines the huge centipede, like the tiles, and slices all the way down him, and it's now his perfected fist. Yeah, the physical volume did not do this panel justice, because the page can't really see the image. But yeah, we got Garo's now perfected fist. He's now got his own style, which kind of means nothing because this doesn't really do much. But yeah, Sweet Mask mistakes Manako for trying to kill Flash, but Saitama saves Manako from getting killed by Sweet Mask by surfing in the big aircraft carrier, which doesn't feel necessary. Oh yeah, and also for some reason Tank Top Master got a load of fat on him when getting healed. I forgot to mention that also. It mentions a moment in Volume 7 of Tatsumaki against the Dark Matter Thieves ship. But yeah, then Saitama returns and he kind of stops all the water from crashing down on everyone, and yeah, it's a bit not that interesting if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, then we get a first introduction to Garo and Saitama. Yeah, this is going to be beginning the big battle that everyone's been waiting for. So this is a bit of like a cliffhanger here. They start talking a bit. Yeah, the webcomic does it much better. There's a lot more build up and hype, and it's a lot darker. But here it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Yeah, Garo and Saitama start talking a bit, and Saitama's obviously very angry and upset here because he's come up to realise his entire house has been destroyed, everything's gone, so now he's lost all his stuff and he's going to have to find a new place to live. And obviously this terrifies Garo because the pressure, you can sense the immense power coming from Saitama. But yeah, he goes to attack him and Saitama knocks him away, which is really bad because this is the moment where Garo and Saitama are supposed to have their massive battle and he just effortlessly... Yeah. Volume 18 with the Dining Dash situation. Then Volume 15 where Garo tries to attack King and he mistakes it for King's attack. And then Volume 10 during the whole buying a wig situation and Garo just completely lost his memory at night. But yeah, it all kind of comes back to Garo now. He starts to remember. In the webcomic, Garo doesn't actually remember until after their big fight, but in the manga, it's before the fight. And Saitama just doesn't recognise him. Garo attacking Saitama, so this is technically the beginning of their fight, but yeah, Garo's perfected fist does nothing on Saitama's skull, obviously, and Saitama breaks off his hand, and it just regenerates. For some reason, doesn't regenerate the eye crack, which just makes sense, and Garo flings him away, and this here is supposed to be a really cool moment in the webcomic, but it just feels silly in the manga, and I'm not a fan of it at all. And Garo just starts to transform even more. Then it even references this moment from volume 16. But yeah, Tario's like, he's not going to run away this time and all that, and he starts talking to him, which just interrupts the fight. Like, this isn't supposed to happen. Then Saitama walks over and starts talking to him, and this is supposed to be the "Are you chicken?" moment in the webcomic, but it's completely different here, and yeah, Saitama's just invulnerable to Garo and knocks him away, and Saitama says he's going to stop him and not kill him, so that's the cliffhanger for this volume. No advertisement, but the make here is a cool make. It's some aliens talking about the death of Boros, and they find out that Saitama's the one who killed him, so they shoot a laser off into Saitama's head, and it bounces back onto them, like, with his bald head reflection. This is a good make. I like this. This is really funny. And it's so cool. But yeah, then we get the end. Yeah. Alright, so meanwhile, in the webcomic, awakened Garo has just been born, and he's killed Golden Sperm. Sweet Mask is pretty surprised by this, and attacks Garo, but Garo's way too fast, and goes over to the other S-Class heroes, and basically just starts beating them up. And all the Class S heroes line up together, and they're all ready to take down Garo. And even Tatsumaki gets involved, and none of these heroes are any use compared to Garo. They're just... yeah, Garo is way too strong at this point. Even if all the heroes were at full power and not injured, the results would still be the same here. Yeah, this is the Garo, effectively. Everyone debates who is stronger between him and Boros. Just really overpowered, and it's just so cool seeing this whole beatdown between Garo finally taking out the Class S heroes. And then Flash gets involved. And yeah, he's just immensely fast, and Garo just adapts and completely overwhelms him. And what I really love here is so funny that Saitama tries to get involved, and he's playing along as if it's like a hero game, saying that it's his turn to avenge the heroes, but they're all just completely ignoring him. And when he tries to get involved, the other heroes just keep getting beaten down even more. Effectively, all the heroes can't get up, they're just too badly beaten and injured, and Garo's threatening them all to come up and fight one last time, because there's got to be someone who's able to stand up to him, and he's threatening to kill Tario, the kid. And obviously he's not going to, it's an empty-handed threat, he's just doing it just to motivate the heroes to get up, but no one's standing. And it's in the middle of the night, basically really dark, no one can see what's going on here. Then all of a sudden, evil natural water rises up behind him, but he just gets taken out instantly by Saitama. And this actually surprises Garo, that a dragon-level monster just died in an instant here. Then Garo just throws a punch at Saitama, and Saitama just dodges. Then Garo starts giving this whole speech in philosophy about his views, and all Saitama was really interested in is keeping it down at night, because he came originally to come and complain about a noise complaint going on. Then Garo introduces himself as the hero hunter, and that reminds Saitama that he's the bad guy he's been looking around for. Then Saitama puts the pieces together, realizing that this is Bang's former disciple, his former student, and Saitama announces that he's going to kick Garo's ass. So Saitama walks over without hesitation, really building up the moment, and Garo's just amazed by this lower class hero coming over to him. And then Saitama just calls him chicken, and this really angers Garo. And he sends a barrage of attacks towards Saitama's way, and this does nothing to Saitama. Garo gets up, ready to fight, really surprising the reader that, wow, another monster's taken the hit from Saitama and gotten up. See, it's not all goofy like in the manga, it's serious. It's like, wow, a monster's gotten up after a punch. And Saitama gives another sort of, oh, face, similar to the okay face he originally gave to Boros. Then Garo attacks Saitama from behind, and Saitama just throws him over his shoulder. And Saitama's amazed that he can keep going. And we're going to stop here because the rest of the fight is for the next video we're going to be doing here. So this ends on chapter 88 of the webcomic. But yeah, that has been One Punch Man volumes 28, 29, 30, 31 and 32, all in one video for you. And also, on top of that, all the events of the above ground fights in the webcomic. I know in this video it might have sounded like I've been complaining a lot, and I don't know, it's just because I guess the webcomic is very close and special to me. It's really what got me into the series, and I was really looking forward to seeing a lot of that adapted into the manga, and I guess in a way it has done, just not as what I've been expecting. Like if this was a new original story, I wouldn't be as upset. Like, I think, you know, if the webcomic didn't exist, this would be perfectly fine and acceptable. But if we got the webcomic in comparison, then, you know, I'd much rather that. I wouldn't necessarily want to trade all that away for what we got in the manga. Like, I think volume 31 here is the best in this video because it does get close to where the webcomic was, and it adds new things that I actually don't mind. Like, throughout this video there are a couple changes which, you know, I've actually enjoyed, and they're like, alright, cool, it's new to the manga and I welcome it. Like, I'm not like this person who doesn't like change, but I think when it gets changed too much to a degree where there's forced foreshadowing or all this other stuff, then, you know, I'm gonna be a bit upset. So I will definitely recommend you read the One Punch Man webcomic. I will link it in the description of this video. I might even put it in the comments. But yeah, if you can, definitely give the webcomic a try. Like, I've just been giving it a summary. It's definitely 100 times better than the manga at this stage. And next time we will be going over Saitama versus Garo. The big battle everyone's been waiting for. You don't have to keep asking when it's going to be coming in the comments anymore, because it will be coming in the next video. It's going to be in volumes 33 and 34. We're going to be doing those two in one singular video, so we've got that big fight all in one video just for you guys. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully I've encouraged you to check out the webcomic if you've not read it yourself yet, and if you have, let me know your thoughts of all the changes, because I know a lot of people online share a lot of the same opinions as me, but then there's obviously some people who disagree, so let me know. But yeah, with the webcomic, just start from volume 70, just know that there's no Orochi, and you're pretty much all set, really. Yeah. Thankfully, it's only this arc that the manga has kind of ruined so far, like the Psychic Sisters arc, the next arc. You know, in the manga, that's actually really good. It sticks to the webcomic. Then there's the whole ninjas arc, which we're not going to go into, but yeah. Hopefully you've really enjoyed this video. I've put a lot of time and effort into this, and I enjoy making these videos, and it's been a while since we've done One Punch Man, but yeah. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.